I'm Matt Woodford here for CJSF 90.1 FM. We're sitting here with Ricky, our music director. Ricky, how's it going?
It is going okay.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
About me?
About yourself and your job here at CJSF 90.1 FM.
I'm like, good, because, I mean, talking about myself in general, we'd be here like a whole day. So, okay, I'm the music coordinator here. I decide what music gets to stay in the library and what doesn't. I sort through everything. I mostly just order a bunch of people around to do the job for me. I drink a lot of coffee and do a lot of texting. No, I'm kidding. I like legit do a lot of stuff. Mostly archive.
Probably do text quite a bit, though.
Yeah, I do text quite a bit. Yeah. I do archive. I keep in touch with labels and with like different distributors, different artists, and encourage them to send me music. We have a bunch of quotas that we need to meet as a radio station, so I have to make sure that we're always have enough music to meet those quotas and make sure that these artists are all representative of Canada, of different and diverse like ethnicities and gender backgrounds. That it's all independent. That we're not like playing like I you know what. Like top 40, whatever is in the top 40 right now. I don't even know what it is. So
it ain't in this top 40.
It makes me very good at my job not knowing what the top 40 is.
I think what we kind of chat about a little bit around the station is like what the importance of community radio is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's specifically to your job, like that this idea of the archive.
Yeah,
is really, really important aspect. You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what people don't understand about community radio is that we are a treasure trove of almost anything and everything that comes through and becomes part of Canadian and specifically Vancouver music culture and arts culture, right? Like if you look through our like 90,000 plus library, you'd find like recordings from Vancouver bands, Canadian bands that like have, without archives like ours, would have probably just like disappeared entirely off of the face of the earth, right? We have like filing cabinets of 7 inches from bands that would later become bigger, better bands, or just cease to exist, but they did something very important in the time that they were around, right? Like, what is this one that I found the other day? I found like Electric Energy Commission. It's not electric, it's something else, but they were like a Vancouver, like a psych rock Vancouver band that people like loved, but they disappeared out of nowhere. And I was like, they just reissued something, which is why it alerted me. And I'm like, oh, well, we should we have it. And they reissued an album called The Migration of the Snails. And I was like, do we have the original pressing of that? And we totally do.
Very, very cool.
So it's
I think that's like one of the most fascinating aspects of your job and community radio in general. Yeah. So, are you making any radio?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. When can we hear you? Can we tune in?
I just got off the booth. So, yeah.
When was that? Fridays at 1.
So it's Fridays at 1 to 2. I have a show called I Come From the Mountain, where I talk about mostly the new stuff that comes into the playlist that I really like, or that I think has like a significance of some sort. Also, a couple bands have done me like this amazing pleasure, like this amazing like gift of sending me things that are not just CDs. Like I get like chocolates or like lunch boxes full of like
the lunchbox.
The lunchbox was
bonkers.
amazing.
Yeah.
They send me records and handwritten letters and so I try to keep track and note that as well, because I like talking about that on my show, about how the length that people go to get someone to pay attention, because they understand that like music directors across Canada and across the world are getting like over 100 albums a week. Like being noticed is a tricky mark, and if you send them a lunchbox full of a bottle opener, a grinder, some chocolate, like
there's like some hockey cards in there too.
Oh no, like full on a full on custom poker set, like just like playing cards. Yeah. So it's so I try to like note that as well. A lot of musicians, do things that are not just music. They do like books, they do poetry, they do painting, right? And so sometimes they'll send me that in a book form or like link me
like
to
multimedia kind of art.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And I mostly just take it as a moment to talk to people about music, about the importance of music, about the importance of CJSF and like radio stations in general, and also show them like that there's a bunch of cool stuff out there that you don't know, and that if you just like let yourself be guided, you'll find something sweet. And I think community radio does that, right? Like we have this. Right now, we're really having this conversation of like. Everyone needs to be able to choose everything all the time. And now everyone has option paralysis because Netflix has literally over 1,000 shows that you want to watch and you don't know which one to start with. And I think that's like a little bit of magic was lost when Netflix came around, when like Spotify and Apple Music came around, because part of what's fun about radio, what part of what's fun about TV is that you just don't know sometimes. You're just like, turn it on and you're like, great, let's buckle in and see what happens.
And I
right?
think that's a really good point because it's one thing about wanting to be led and saying like, hey, you know what, actually, why don't you show me what you've got?
Yeah.
But on the opposite end of that message, as a community radio host, you're like, let me show you.
Yeah.
Like, I want nothing more than to show you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone responds to that request, it's honestly just this beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
And that can spawn so many things. I think that's a really good point about community radio. So thanks for making that for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. And if people want to get a hold of you, they can do it through cjsf.ca.
Yep, they can. Yeah, CJSF MUSC at sfu.ca to reach me directly. And yeah, and then I'm like on social media and stuff. I don't know. I'm somewhere in the world.
And then check out the show Over the Mountain.
I Come From the Mountain.
I Come From the Mountain, Fridays 1 p.m.
Yep.
on 90.1 FM. Hey, thanks, Ricky, for stopping in.
Thank you.
All right.